I'm going to talk a little bit today about a personal statement topic, since this is one of the ones that I think a lot of students end up writing about, and it's actually one of my favorites of the common application options because I really think it's one that can share a lot of who you are in a way that is really different than just telling them about the activities and the things that you do. So the topic I want to focus on at the moment is overcoming a challenge or a difficulty, and the wording varies from year to year as the Common App adjusts their questions, but still a lot of students that I work with and a lot of students in general choose to write about something difficult that they've experienced and how they overcame it. And so this is sort of the thing that I want to focus on for a few minutes. The first thing I think is really important to remember is that everybody has difficult things that they've gone through in their life. Sometimes they are things at school with their friends, sometimes they are things within their family, sometimes it's things within themselves. We all have challenges, and though they may vary in size and type, they are something that is a universal part of the human experience. And because of that, these challenges are actually how we connect to other people sometimes, and sharing them with people and the vulnerability that comes with sharing them can actually create a sense of empathy in the person who's reading it or the person who's listening to your story. And that sense of empathy, not that I'm saying we're doing this for a result, but that sense of empathy is part of what helps you kind of become a person that jumps off the page, a person that is more than just a list of extracurriculars and a list of grades. So it's one of the more powerful things that I think we can share in our common application profile. But it's really important to do a few things the right way. First, you need to not dwell in the details of the really negative part. If you're someone that has experienced bullying, if you're someone who has experienced violence, if you have gone through depression, these are all really important parts of the story, and you definitely need to include enough details for them to feel real and for your audience or the reader to kind of understand what's going on. But we also only have 650 words, and you can't spend too much time in that dark place, since the purpose of the essay is really to focus on the growth that came out of it. So you want to make sure not to spend hundreds and hundreds of words kind of narrating the really negative stuff to give a sense of what happened, but then to move on to how you grew from that and what came out of it. So that balancing act is often a big part of the editing that we have to do and the conversations we have to have, because you definitely want to make sure to have enough, but not too much. You also really need to show reflection on how this experience impacted you and how it became a part of who you are long term. Not just the fact that it influenced how you made friends afterwards, but it influenced maybe how you are as a person down the line. Your personal statement and the way that you talk about your growth should be something that applies to you when you're my age, right? Because the formative experiences of our childhood and of our youth are the things that kind of become a part of the building blocks of who we are. So you need to show that it has impacted your mindset and your outlook on life, or the way that you sort of see yourself. Also, you need to remember, another thing I guess that you need to remember is that even if you're writing about a negative experience, the way that we approach it should be in a more positive way. And I know that might sound a little bit strange, but bear with me. So a lot of the growth that happens from difficulty is really positive growth, and that's the kind of examples that we want to share, and that's the kind of stuff we want to talk about. So if you have a negative experience, let's say bullying, and what happened to you afterwards is that you became more closed off and you became less trusting, that isn't necessarily something that we want to talk too much about. We want to be able to find the positivity in your story and in the difficulty that you faced, and talk about the growth that came after it, so that they can see that you are learning and growing and becoming a better person even through these difficult moments. So the negative things still need to end up having a somehow positive tone, even if they were really difficult and destructive to you in the experience of going through them. I don't want to give too much information about how you should structure this, because everyone's story is really different, and depending on the challenge, I think it's going to look different for everybody. But I do think that you want to make sure to cover the things that we talked about here, right? You want to have a bit of detail about the real event that happened and how it impacted you. You want to show real serious reflection on who you became after it. And I would end on the fact that you want to make sure that this is really a positive story of growth that comes from maybe a hard moment in your life. Definitely send me a message if you have any questions after that.